Now, the masculine principle, as you may have surmised, evolved out of the left brain hemispheric function, and that evolved to accommodate the task of hunting and the task of killing. Here you have it, you are out in the jungle and you're hunting. The first thing you have to do is you have to focus, right? So whereas women, it served them to be able to synthesize many things at once and to be able to be taking in everything that's happening, for men who were predominantly hunting, they had to be able to tune out everything and focus squarely on the task at hand. So the concept of focus and linear progression evolves in the left brain hemisphere. They had to have an ability to suppress emotion. So part of the feminine energy is validating human life, having deep reverence for human life. Why? Because you're giving life, you're nurturing life, you're sustaining life. That's part of the feminine energy. You respect life. To hunt, you have to be willing to kill life in order for you to survive. So that deep feeling, that deep emotion, that deep regard has to be able to be suppressed, at least in the minute, so that you can accomplish the kill. Both tasks are equally important, and that's why we always talk about there must be balance. But if feminine energy is creativity, then masculine energy is ultimately destruction. You have to be assertive. You have to be aggressive. So these things, again, are left brain hemispheric functions. Logic, rationality, the concept of time exists in the left brain. Our sense of ego, of who we are, of being here, of having then, now, and the future all evolve to accommodate this critical task, this predominantly masculine task of hunting and killing. Also existing within this energy is convergent thinking. So if the right hemisphere supports convergent thinking, which means creativity, radical innovation, thinking in terms of possibilities, then the left brain encourages convergent thinking, which means taking a concept and analyzing and extracting it. And so you have these two energies, and they should live in harmony. And as ancient wisdom tells us, when you have polarities, you have issues. When you have a society that elevates one form of consciousness over the other gender will suffer. And so in societies where we only acknowledge our left brain function, where we only elevate production, competition, assertiveness, individuality, ego, rationality, logic, when we elevate these and we downplay their counterparts, our society suffers. Well, how does it suffer? We have issues with our environment. We have global warming. We have poverty, which is the result of saying, if in order for me to eat, you can eat, right? Which is kind of, capitalism. Somebody has to lose, right? You have racism. You have misogyny. Women suffer in those societies where we don't balance production with creation. We have conservation issues. We have vanishing natural resources. So the goal is to have balance. If you're going to have production, you also have to have creation and conservation. If you're going to have hierarchies, you also need to build networks. If you're going to have rational thinking and logic, you also need emotionality. If you're going to have a kill mentality, it must be balanced off with a concern and regard for all living things. This is what we need. And not only do we run into issues in our communities and in our societies and in our world when we have polarity, but we run into issues, personal issues, and issues in our relationships.